Hey folks, this is Best in Slot. Welcome back to our Southeast Indian zoo build. Today we're going a little bit more Today we're going a little bit more low key. In the last video we did our very expansive Indian bazaar sort of thing. We're moving away from India today into Myanmar, which you may well know as Burma. I found a elephant range known as the Rakhine Yoma Elephant Range in Myanmar, which has Asiatic elephants, but it also has Binturongs that have been photographed there. And I found this very specific photograph of a base camp that people had established, because, you know, there's mountain ranges, blah, blah, blah. And they'd established this base camp next to this stream, this river, and the morning light was coming in, and it was sort of a little bit misty, a little bit hazy, and it was just the most, it's a really beautiful photo. I'm going to try to remember to show you it basically right now. And, excuse me. And that's basically what I wanted to recreate. I wanted to build this photo in Planet Zoo. I thought it looked really, really nice and was a nice habitat for the elephants. Now, I know the Binturong is on the thumbnail, but the elephants were basically the focus for this. Sorry, Binturongs. It's just that the Binturongs haven't been... I've never built for them before. And I did put some stuff in for them as well to make them happy, because I do love the Binturong, don't get me wrong. I love the Binturong. So, it's going to be a river coursing through, and you're going to go over it on a little bit of a bridge. I wish I could do like a straight line path instead of having to go up, you know what I mean? Just go straight across and it would become like a little bridge without the ramp, because it's going over a gap. I'm sure there's a way to do that, you know. I don't know how to think about that. I think you can do it with like bigger pits, but not necessarily this one. Anyways, so yeah, just trying to recreate the photo, make it as nice as possible. It was definitely a lower build. It was only a couple of hours. The last one was like 8, 9 or something like that. It isn't quite done. The actual exhibit is done. The area leading up to it needs some vavavoom, but I couldn't really think of anything, so I'm going to leave that up to you guys. We'll talk about that a little bit later on. But one thing I really like about building from real photos is that when it comes to rock formation and stuff like this, you know, how the ground staggers up, where the high bits are, where the low bits are, where the medium bits are, all that kind of stuff. It's good practice for making your other habitats realistic, because this is going to be a realistic habitat, because it is literally based on the real world. And I think I got pretty close to the photo by the end. So if I can kind of remember what I do here and take some of these philosophies forward, yeah, that's right, philosophies for placing rocks, then I think that makes you a better builder, basically. There will be rocks. I know last video I said I'll try to do a non-rock habitat, but we were going to do something very different, and I didn't really like the idea I had. And one of the reasons this video is so late, it's been a couple of weeks now, is I simply couldn't find an idea. I wasn't really inspired for that. I was inspired by the elephants in particular, but integrating them into a habitat that I liked was tough. Initially I was going to do something more, again, based on the Indian bazaar and kind of lead in that direction. But there is a big problem already with the elephants in that they need to be... They're really struggling with this, again, kind of like the tigers, etc. I mentioned in the last video, but the way that human culture is encroaching on their natural environment. And I thought, the elephants deserve to be free. Let's give them an actual sanctuary. I want to give them somewhere they can roam around and be happy. There's this other photo, which this isn't based on, but it was in India, and it was this beautiful grassy plain, and it's like a helicopter shot, and it's just this little herd of elephants just wandering around, or like a little family of elephants, probably 3 or 4 of them, just wandering around, living their lives, and it was beautiful to see these animals just so free and natural like that. So kind of wanted to bring that in a little bit, and that means having a more natural themed habitat, which, you know, tends to be pretty quick for me because this is my kind of thing. One thing we'll be doing, you can see the river kind of carries on. I like the idea of it going on and on and on into the distance, like way beyond what you can see. Again, kind of having that feeling that they're not constrained by a habitat. You're looking into their world. You know, we're going past on this bridge. You're looking over this single fence into the realm of the elephants, and also the Binturongs. It is worth noting I used the Rakhine Yoma Elephant Range specifically because it's where, technically, the Asiatic elephants, Indian elephants are a subspecies of Asiatic elephant, but I figure that's fine, we can use Indian elephants anyway. And the Binturongs have also been photoed there, so both species did actually live together there in some context. Had to change my music here. I have a... oh, excuse me. Spotify has like a Discover Weekly thing, which is actually really good for finding new bands and new music, is where I find most of it these days. But sometimes when you're doing like a build, you kind of want the music that you recognize, that you can kind of like lose yourself in a little bit. For me, that tends to be Spanish love songs. That's a band name, not actual Spanish love songs. And I either swap over to them, basically, is what you just saw there. Professional YouTubing. Anyways, so this region we're building, you saw the photo, I assume, has like a hill region on the top left-hand side, and it just disappears into like a really harsh forest, which is nice because this tropical foresty area lets me sort of blend it in with what we were already working on earlier on in the park. Which is tough for the rest of it, because this is a very... You're going to see a lot of rocks. I know I said there'd be no rocks in this video, but then I changed what I was building, and this one requires the rocks. So as I say, I was trying to match this a little bit more with the photo actually in the rock placement and the rock size and stuff like that, just to kind of guarantee that it's realistic, that this does look like a real rock formation where the rocks would naturally be, because it is literally where they would naturally be, unless someone in the photo thought this photo is bad because of the rock placement, and whoever went and took the photo moved all these massive rocks beforehand. It seemed unlikely to me. So I had a lot of fun with the rocks and trying to make it as natural as possible. I also wanted to kind of test myself a little bit. You'll see a lot of ground is stone at the moment. It's like rough rock, I think it's called, or rough stone, or whatever it is called. And I think long grass is a bit of a crutch. You can have a swathe of empty ground, and if it's long grass, long grass, if it's long grass, then, so I'll talk about this briefly, yeah. So, because the floor texture is so boring, it's not boring, but it repeats. And doesn't really look textured, it looks kind of flat in a way. I'm just sinking tons of rocks under the ground to kind of try to give it like that small pebbly texture that an area like this would have. And now I've forgotten what I was saying. Oh yeah, so it's quite hard to work with the rock texture if it's on a huge area, because it looks very repetitive. You can see there, look at how often the texture is repeating. The actual base rock texture that gets repeated is actually not very big, so it's really noticeable. So you need to sink rocks in and sink rocks all over. There's rocks all over the place, but I'm doing this basically to break that texture up as much as possible and make it look more like a natural rock texture and not this slightly weird repeating thing that the rock texture that Planet Zoo provides. Does that make sense? I think that makes sense. Anywho, rocks. Excuse me, I'm dying. But yeah, it was interesting. I've never really built like this. I've never built like a rocky environment before, because it's a pain, honestly. You really do have to cover things up entirely. I'm going to put a little bit of grass on the right hand side, although you won't really see that by the end. Use the smooth rock a little bit, use some more dirt, blah blah blah. I've kind of break that texture up as much as possible. Really did want it to look like the photo though. I think we get really close. I think by the end this ends up looking really, really good. Putting the forest on the right hand side, so it's really just the valley is encompassed, encircled, enraptured by this very thick, dense forest. The idea was the animals won't spend any time in the forest because it's so thick with two C's. It's more like a noose around the neck of our habitat, but in a nice way, a nice noose. Building up the forest a bit back there in the background, adding some dirt. Again, the idea was that it looks like it just goes on and on and on into the distance. Like, we're not looking in the habitat, we are looking in the habitat. We're not looking into a zoo habitat. We're looking at a slice of the elephant's life, you know? Like, we're actually there in that place, and there just happens to be a fence. One fence, though. You're not going to see the glass by the end, I hope. Yeah, it looks nice. Comes together more at the end. So, it is a base camp. There are tents and stuff like that. I wanted to keep it moderately low-key, so we're just going to do 3 tents and 2 of these off-road vehicles. I had people who are moderately respectful, at least, of the environment. That maybe they're scientists, you know, researching the elephants or something, which is very much a necessary step. And I wanted to build a fire pit, because I like fire pits. Although fire pit may be less respectful. If you love it, don't set it on fire, but sometimes you need a fire pit. I wish I could change the colour of the tents. It makes me sad. I really don't know why I can't. It's weird. Anywho, so again, even the tree placement, you're going to see more plant placement in a little bit. Not much in the middle, it's more like a rocky stream encircled, as I say, by these trees. But You know, this is like the first time I can't say no realism, just vibes. This is basically no vibes, just realism, basically. Well, to an extent. Like, I do some things that aren't there in the actual thing, but by and large. So yeah, just whenever I see like a group of foliage or something in the photo, I'm trying to bring that into the game a little bit. The river, my river, goes on much, much further than theirs does, but I thought that looks nicer, basically. So screw you, reality. I'll make my own. And there's like a block thing around here, and that's where the river would stop, so that's why I'm kind of like stacking up the stuff a little bit more in that regard. More rocks. Just trying to make the river more interesting. I really do hate blank space, like just dead air. Just negative space can be a beautiful thing in artwork, something I utilize all the time in my artwork, but in Planet Zoo, I'm not a negative space kind of guy. I'm a positive space. Sound like a yoga instructor. Welcome to positive space. We're going to start in child's pose, and then we shall drink some. What do yogis drink? Probably a smoothie. Everyone's about the bloody smoothies, aren't they? There's always this idea. I'm not going to rant about smoothies. This is not the place to rant about smoothies. So bringing in a little bit of foliage again. Not much. These are the only plants I think that make it into the main area. There's other than the trees and stuff. Messing around with the watercolor a little bit. I really like this one. I thought that looked really nice. Well, I might change back to it actually, but this one looks more realistic, and it also more matches the real world tone. And I was going for the realism. I really, really wanted to hammer home this, so that if you walked over this bridge and looked over, it looks like the photo, and it looks like a snapshot of real. I wanted it to look as photorealistic as it possibly could in this situation, basically. And yeah, nearly got there. I'm actually going to use weather effects to help that out as well. This bit less in the photo, you can't really see this area in the photo, it's a bit too far away, so I'm kind of just stacking rocks in there just to make it a little bit more interesting. Bringing in foliage where necessary. Just so there's no like really big blank areas of it. It's not just because I don't like blank areas, but it's also because the rock texture, as I've said, doesn't look great if you kind of leave it to its own devices. It needs a lot of maintenance, the rock texture. So, that's why we're bringing in the little rocks, you know? Little Rock. Wait, no, we don't like... Do we like... Who's Little Rock? Why do I know Little Rock? Is that a singer? No, that's Kid Rock. Who's Little Rock? Oh, Thingy! Zombieland. Right, anyways, it's stuff time, so... What was I saying about the stuff? Yeah, I don't really plan for the stuff. Maybe I should, but I really don't plan for the stuff beforehand. It's a bit of a problem. That's why I had to raise the trees to the sky. It kind of ended up working fine. We just have to slip them in here and then sort of blend them in with the environment. If I was building an actual zoo, this would be a lot easier, but because I want to keep it looking natural, you do have to hide them a little bit. But I really wanted to just do a test, make sure the Binturongs couldn't escape in particular, and as you see they can, so we're going to have to work on that. And same with the elephants as well, they'll need a little bit of work. I do want to talk about some stuff. Elephants, like the animals we talked about in the last video in this series, do have a problem with human encroachment upon their environment. You know, India has a massively growing population, and that will only continue to spiral upwards. We'll talk about that in a little bit as well. And this problem isn't going away, and a lot of elephants die to things like electrocution, or to getting hit by trains on train tracks, and of course the ivory trade is still very much a very real thing, and it's the most barbaric, stupid thing on the planet. It really is. And yet not enough is being done about it, actually, by like government officials and stuff like that. Like, I believe it got legalized, and all that really did was ramp up the price of ivory and make it even more valuable to people. So yeah, more needs to be done, clearly, to make sure they can't escape. But they could actually get out over the ramp, so we had to tighten that up a little bit, make it a little bit sharper, so they can't just wander up and do their own thing. But I also have another problem with elephants in that, you know, if you go on Tinder, right, whichever version, not on these days, but, you know, back when I was, you spend 2 minutes on Tinder, especially with people who are like younger generation, let's say 20 to 30, I guarantee you will see at least one photo of someone posing with and probably an Indian or at least an Asiatic elephant, or they'll be riding them through a river or something like that. And it's really bad. It's really an issue, and these elephants are not necessarily treated well, and it's this kind of, I don't know, puffification of a wild animal, and it really bugs me. There's our Indian elephant sign from the last video. Very cool. And what I was trying to do here was try to get the lighting to match the photo a little bit, and it wasn't really working out because I really wanted that sort of hazy, early morning kind of feel, and I actually didn't clock at all that I could use the weather to make that effect more of a reality. Bringing in the truck spotlights. This isn't really a nighttime themed habitat, I wouldn't say, but I do like the campfire. I think from a distance the campfire looks really cool, and I always like the spotlights on the truck. I always think that's nice as well. Little idea here, the lampposts are going to come out from the town, but then, oh no, they fell over. So the elephants would cross over in this area, and again, it's about that clash between humanity and the elephants, elephanality. And the idea was they had these big lampposts, but they're not sustainable, so they didn't, bother covering the entire road with them. And now the road is unlit completely, so I have to fix that. But the point is, I wanted to represent a little bit at least this sort of clash between the two philosophies. So you can see here, it's changed up a little bit. It's got that kind of faded, slightly hazy look. I'd like to push it a little bit further. All I did here was turn the weather on the bottom right from sunny to cloudy. And it does, it kind of fades the background a little bit. I'd love it even more. I'd love if we had like a proper fog machine. I know we have one, but it's like low to the ground and a bit cloudy. What I really want is just like a big wall of hazy mist, I'd absolutely love that, but I think that looks really cool. I'm really happy with how this ended up. Tried out the rain, but it wasn't quite working. I think we're basically done at this point. I did a little bit more work since then, but you can see the habitat itself is definitely done, but this area here needs some work. I don't know what I want to do here. I feel like I want to build something here, but right now I'm not sure what that is. We'll talk about we'll talk about that more in-game in a second. Right, here we are. So you'd see your... God, I really do like this. You'd see your crocodiles, you'd see your tigers, you'd walk forward, you'd have the elephant crossing sign. Again, this is a actual elephant crossing sign. You'd walk past the oddly floating posters and ignore the car sounds outside. So this is really the first problem that I was on about. I've got some building materials laying about and a fallen elephant and some lampposts and stuff, but this area, especially sort of here, is a little bit empty for my liking, a little bit dead. It needs something. I don't want to build anything too human focused. It could be the remnants of something human focused or the start of something human focused. But what I would like to do is emphasize that, again, that meeting of the natural and the man-made, and those are clashing. For emphasis, there you go. So I need to do something like that in this area, but I don't actually know what that would be at the moment. That's why it looks so boring. I would like to make this more interesting, so feel free to hit me up with some ideas. We could do an info bit about the elephants. They do need a sign, stuff like that. Let's go check out the actual habitat itself. Might get rid of this sign as well. So wander forward, wander forward. I do feel bad that the Binturongs have been so neglected. Maybe we can do something Binturong themed here. Like a popcorn machine or something. Elephant crossing, little elephant statue there, just, why not? It's a zoo. Sort of, it's not really a zoo. And here we go. Shuffle off to the left, that's the important bit. Over here, this is my viewing area. And, yeah, I think I got really close to the photo, actually. It's not quite got the same scale. I think mine's larger in scale. But I did want, yay, there he goes. I did want the elephants to have something to do, some time, some places to run around and stuff like that, some places to explore. I gave them the gyro thing because I thought I can kind of justify that existing. The clouds really help establish this as kind of like, the exhibit disappearing off into the distance. I don't think you can really see the glass fence. You can kind of see it if you sort of stare at it, but by and large I don't think you can really tell that the glass fence is there. That didn't take long. But it looks to me like the habitat just goes off and off and off into the distance and into the wilderness. What is going on here? Oh. Well, you've come back, that's fine. So yeah, it's not big on an idea like the Bazaar was or anything. It is very natural and stuff, but I really like it. This is a problem, however. Oh, you full on got out. Come here. Well, yeah, they can just walk out of there, can't they? What happened? How does this change? Stop. Stop. Desist. Okay, it's actually only here that I have to change. I'm just gonna stagger up some more rocks. Just kind of block that area. I don't care if you can see into there from outside anyway. Good. Nope, just got a little bit of a problem over there as well. Let's block that off. Okay, how are we looking? Kahaya, you cheeky little blighter. You're very cute though. I will give you that much, but just stop, okay? I have to click play once and it kind of readdresses. Although maybe that was a little bit too quick. Come on. Right, sweet. Are we done, Binturongs? Being silly? I think so. This is because you didn't get a statue, isn't it? I don't think I neglected the Binturongs. I really wanted to do Binturongs with the elephants. I thought that was a really nice idea. They are incredible animals, and they do look brilliant now that they've been, you know, fixed up a little bit, shall we say. I thought it was a nice idea that you'd have the camp, right? You'd have the base camp. And the fireplace, I don't know why I never thought to do this for the fireplace. It needs more rocks, maybe. Binturong, careful. I think it needs more rocks, but I don't know why I never thought to do this for a fireplace. And the boxes made a lot of sense as well, just because that's the kind of thing people would have. But I really like the idea of having this base camp. And we're here to see the elephants, sure. Oh, silly goo. They're here to see the elephants. Okay, so they wake up in the morning, they look out across the stream, and they see the elephants sort of wandering around, going down to drink in the morning. But then the Binturongs come up, friendly and inquisitive or whatever, and they run around the camp and bounce around in the trees nearby, and smell of popcorn. And I thought that was a really nice sort of dichotomy between the big lumbering elephants off in the distance and these little bouncy, hoppy Binturongs more focused around the camp area. And I thought that worked really well. And they are, you know, photoed in this area. It is actually realistic for them to be here with the elephants. Now, whether they'd be in this exact environment is another thing. But, you know, we can only do so much. And the elephants are beautiful. I know they're like a default animal in the game, so they maybe get forgotten a little bit, but the Indian elephant is actually my favourite of the bunch. I mean, look at that. Isn't that a little beauty? I want you to be free and happy. This area's a little bit boring. I could do something there as well, maybe there. This area's definitely more the focus. But, yeah, I don't really have much else to show for this one, guys. It's a little bit simple. But if it was going to come up today before tomorrow, and we think is going to happen tomorrow, and obviously there's going to be a bit of a focus on that tomorrow, and for at least a week or so, I'd say, afterwards, I really wanted to get this out there, and I liked the idea. Also really like being able to see that in the distance as well. Again, this kind of clash between the man-made and the natural. I just need to make this more interesting, and maybe over there if I can think of some stuff, but... do a quick little nighttime shoot. I've got my lights on, don't I? Actually looks really good. It looks like a nature documentary. At nighttime when you've got the torch on, which I kind of forgot was the thing, by the way. I've not turned this torch on. Where's my key? There it is. This is the first time I've turned this on in months, years. But yeah, there's the camp, there's the... I really like how the light sort of goes down into the river and catches some of the rocks there, and... yeah, happy, basically. Okay, so. What animals do we have left in this pack? We have... oh, tapir is one of them. So tapir, babirusa, and... proboscis I haven't done. Are they the only 3 left? I'm on the wrong pack. Why did nobody tell me? Southeast Asia. There we go. I think those are the 3. Oh, Dole as well. I've got 4 left. Jesus. I've been very unproductive. So Dole, Babirusa, proboscis, and tapir. We could do a joint for one of those. Maybe the proboscis and the tapir. They may go together. That'd be quite nice, actually. But I don't have any great ideas right now. Obviously, the path is going to carry on down here, through here, and into like basically a whole new area. Doesn't that look really nice with the cloudy weather? So we can do whatever we want. Essentially, there's no limit at this. Oopsie daisy. But there's basically no limit. We are free and open to build any theme, any ideas through here. I'd like to do something a little crazy. We went crazy, then we went pretty chill. This is, I will acknowledge, a pretty chill habitat. It would be nice to push the boat out on the next one and do something a little bit mad. I'll have a little think about that. It's probably going to be a week or two, I admit. But, you know, the series isn't dead. We are definitely going to finish off this lovely park. And hopefully by the end it will all link to... It's probably not going to link together, is it? Probably not. But I'll try. Maybe it can somehow link back that. It's not going to link together. Never mind that. Screw that. Right, yeah, anyway, so we're going to end it there. Thank you so much for joining me, ladies and gentlemen. I will... Hello, beautiful. I will see you lovely folks in the next video. Thank you so much for joining me, and if you did enjoy this video, please do throw me a like down below. I'll see you lovely folks then. Cheers much as always. Bye-bye. I just wanted to do a brief update. I put some grass down here, kind of for the elephants, admittedly, and all the Binturongs have appeared to sleep in the shade on the grass. It's really cute. It's also made me realise that the grass is actually slightly floating, but I can fix that. That's fine. That's fine. Sweet. There you go, guys. Actually, it floats by default. Yeah, that's super cute. All having a nice midday nap. Anyways, see you later. Had to catch that as well. The Binturongs were... I was trying to take a photo for the thumbnail, but Binturong mating. We're gonna get baby Binturongs. Baby wrongs. If baby wrongs are wrong, I don't want to be right. I don't know what I'm saying.
Houston, if you're ready, we'll maneuver. Reaching out.